Welcome back, everybody, to another flight here on the Dre Sanchez YouTube channel. I'm your boy Dre. I'll be your captain today, of course, of this American Airlines flight 103 with service from El Paso, Texas to Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. We're on the VATSIM network tonight. Looks like there's a lot of pilots on there, so let's hopefully they stay on for ATC, but if not, you guys can clearly see here that the bags are being loaded, and once the bags are all loaded up, we will get out of here. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and call for clearance right now. As you can see, the folks are working hard on the ramp. Looks like he's still got a lot of bags to load up, and he's just taking a little lunch break there. All of them are, apparently, except the gas man. There he goes driving by. And this random guy over here with the load cart with no driver on it. Anyway, without further ado, let us get on board here, and we'll get the music shut down so we can get to work. I've already got the plane initialized. The fuel is loaded up here. You can see here we have roughly 17,000 pounds plus in just a little bit of fuel in the center tank here. So we'll have to run that for a hot second. I'll probably burn out before we even take off, to be honest with you. So without further ado, let's go ahead and shut these wonderful tunes off, and we'll hopefully come back to that in the air. And let me pull my flight plan up down here, of course, and let's get ourselves logged on. Well, we're already logged on, but we need to figure out which let's see, center that we're going to be contacting. There's 4 Fort Worth centers on. I don't know which one, so 35, 45 is what we'll try first. So let's type that in here, the old rusty dusty comms here. So 135, I believe I said 45. Double check that here in a second. 135, 45. We'll say that is it. All right, we are in there, so let's hope this works out just fine. And let's pray this goes well. Fort Worth Center, American 103 here at El Paso, looking for IFR to Dallas-Fort Worth. So obviously, if that station doesn't work, we will definitely go to a different station here. Okay, so let's try 33,875. Let's go with 875. 133,875. And you know what? I'm almost of the idea that, you know what, we are actually in Albuquerque Center right now, so that may be the problem. 2785. Gotta be smarter than the hat that's on your head. Actually prove you got some brains in there, so hopefully I'm going to do that right now. They're probably thinking this guy over here doesn't know what he's doing, but I forgot that I believe Fort Worth's in Albuquerque. El Paso's in Albuquerque, so it's 2785. Okay, let's do this now. Albuquerque Center, American 103, looking for IFR to Dallas-Fort Worth.
American 103, Albuquerque Center, hello, I have a PDC for you.
Okay, sir, we're standing by. Thanks a lot. Okay, so that's definitely what it was. He's sending me a pre-departure clearance, which you guys see right there. So we are clear, call sign, Boeing type 7738, transponder 0743, which you can see right here. So let's get that in there. 07. And we need 3 there, and then we need to go here to 4. So 0743. I actually need to pull that message up here. Alright, so that's our transponder code is 0743. We're cleared, flight level 370. The whole route is cleared, which is good. You guys will see me put that in. Climb via SID except maintain 17,000. So with that being said, we need to come up here and type in 17,000 before I forget. Because we got to do the real deal here since we are online, so there is no controlling anything ourselves. Alright. I need to get the Zeebo update too. I haven't got the update.
Albuquerque Center, DB Hawaiian 05.
And let's see here. Climb via SID, departure C, contact. ATIS for taxi, controller with current, ATIS for taxi, this message, servers your departure clearance. Okay, so that's great. Now I need to go ahead and get the ATIS in El Paso, so we can pretty much ascertain which runway that we're leaving from.
I'm sorry, Hawaiian 051 Albuquerque Center.
Alright, so the winds are out of 240, so they're out of the west. So now we can just take a look and see what exactly is our best option here. It's going to be runway 22. It's the longest at 12,000. We could do this runway here, but we'd have to come over here to 26 left and head that way. We're going to do 22. So that's what we'll do. And of course, the SID that we're leaving on is touchdown 3. And of course, altitude was assigned by ATC. Climb track heading 222 to 4462, then left direct Arcade. So this is all very simple. We're basically going to do a come off, and at a western we'll make our left turn to Arcade, hit Hickam onto touchdown, and then on out to SFL if that's going to be part of the flight plan. I don't know, but anyway, that's what we're doing, folks, for now. So let's go ahead and make that happen. So now let's go to our route here, and we should be on our way here in a second. It shouldn't take too long since I got everything else up and running. Boom, boom. Flight number 103. Perfect. Now we can do our departure and arrival. Of course, we're going to select runway 22, touchdown, and let me just double check that. That's it. So now we can go back to the route and make sure that's in there. And then from SFL, we go to Inc. And then from Inc, we go right on to the arrival. So we're going to do Geeky.
Albuquerque Center, squawk is 0706.
Now we're also going to go here to the arrival, and we're arriving on the Boo 5, transition Geeky. Now we can go to our legs. Everything is perfect. Activate that bad boy. Now we can go to our initial ref.
Southwest 898.
It's going to say we got 5. Cost index is 50. Flight level is going to be 370.
370 Southwest 898.
It's like 370 is a popular number today. We're not doing any type of derated. The runway, if we get 22, is more than enough, so we can actually blast off of that bad boy at 5.
JetBlue 7, radar contact 36 miles northwest of the Hobbs floor attack.
Verify speeds. They're all good to go. Trim is going to be 475. So let's go ahead and do that now, because we're going to slightly run over the checklist, but not a whole lot. So okay, we'll take that as our trims. Let's go ahead and get our flight director on, and then of course I need to go ahead and check to see exactly what the altimeter was. 3012. And of course, in this aircraft, we must do it from both sides, because it doesn't transfer over nicely, which I think it should in all these aircrafts, because especially for the sim world, just simply because we typically don't have first officer. But you can see the routes in there. All right, let's go ahead and get that APU going here. Boom, boom, boom. We won't put on our anti-collision light. And of course, I need to see exactly what the landing altitude is in Dallas-Fort Worth. 608 feet is the elevation. So now we can come up top, and our flying altitude is going to be Tree 70.
Albuquerque Center, Southwest 1104 is with you.
The landing.
Climbing
Oops.
8,000 for the
Speed
free.
by. Slow it down a little bit. Okay, so it's 600. We'll depressurize to that.
1104 Albuquerque.
The
Center, welcome
APU is
back.
almost there.
Time to maintain flight level 38.
Fine, maintain 380. Thank you very much. To the low.
Alright, APU is now on. We can get our bleeds on. And now we need to go ahead and close the doors. And we need to get rid of all of that traffic out there. So let's get the doors closed. Services doors. Let's see. Close, 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 and close. Alright. Alright, everything is buttoned up and closed. And then now, of course, let's get rid of all those vehicles. So let's have them all drive away. And now we can come up top and get our beacon on. Got logo on. Alright, you can also see that gate is pushing back. And now one of the things that's always messing up here is our better pushback. Let me check the map here and verify. Okay, so we need to push back. We'll do nose to the, let's see, actually we need to push back because we need to get on Juliet. So we'll push back nose facing to the left, or facing to the east. To the left, so let's do our pushback. Now this thing's been glitching, so we'll figure out how this is going to work for us. First time is usually, oh wow, it is actually working correctly, which is a miracle. Now we're going to be pushing back basically onto, it looks like Juliet, there's Foxtrot. So right behind us is Foxtrot. So let's just push back here and see if we can get away with it without getting in trouble and calling just for a pushback, even though we're on an active taxiway. If we get in trouble, we know we did it, but we're going to just try to sneak it in here.
Ground to cockpit, plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Alright, so there's no ATIS here on the VATSIM network, not like Pilot Edge, so they're going to ask for ATIS, we're just going to say we have the weather. So let's see, that park and brake is up.
Albuquerque Center, this November Delta Alpha 97 Hotel here with you, leaving Phoenix International.
Ground to cockpit, tow is driving up.
Lake City.
Alright, so flight director is good. We're gonna LNAV and VNAV up out of here.
November Delta Alpha 97 Hotel, you read our contacts.
So that should help us with our flight director on our climb. Once we get out of here, we're literally just going to follow the flight director and come on around and hit our altitudes that we need. Alright. So the better pushback feller is coming. And so far I think we're sitting nice here. Okay, let's go ahead and turn our transponder on. Up top, everything is looking good, except we need to make sure of a few different things here. Let's get our yaw damper on.
Okay, all doors and hatches are
pumps
closed,
on.
ready to connect.
Now that we got the APU on, let's make sure that ground power's off, and actually we need to come here and GPU disconnect. So now ground power is not available. Alright, isolation valve is open, the bleed is on. Let's get those flight attendants, letting them know we're getting ready to push back here. We're just going to finish hooking it up, and we'll get the
contact Fort Worth,
you can get the window heat on now,
132.4.
and we can get those probes on before we leave, because we
got
got to come up and do the packs too. So
132.45.
132.4.
So connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake. Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
alright, we'll wait for the pushback. I don't want to burn any extra fuel. So at this point, we are pushing back. Like I said, hopefully we do not get in any trouble there. Let me look at my instructions with VATSIM. Okay, let's see here.
American 1321
17,000, contact
Center
the controller with
132.22.
current ATIS for taxi with the message serves as pre-departure. No need to reply unless you have questions.
Was that for American 1321 to complete the purpose, sir?
So I think we're going to be good here.
21 affirmative, contact Denver 132.22.
3222. Good night, Scholar.
All right.
1189 Denver Center 132.22. Good night.
132.22. Good night, United 1189.
All right, let's go ahead and start firing it up. We're close enough. And again, we're just running through it. If we miss something, we did our trims. We'll do our flaps. We got the engine starting up. I'm just trying to get us out of here, folks. Instead of doing a long, belabored this, that, and the other. If we miss something, we just miss it, and I'll blame you too. I'm just kidding. But maybe. Maybe I'm not. All right, looking for 25. Booyah, we got it. Up we go. Engine's up on the rise.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
All right, parking brake is set.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
All right, we can go ahead and put that on the continuous to start the left side engine. Again, we're going to wait for 25, folks. Let's see. Need to work on some lighting issues for the first officer side, which we'll do in a second. 20. Climbing. All right, she's coming up. All right.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal will be on the right. We'll see you next time and have a great flight.
I'm really turning these lights up for you guys. You guys are my first officers, of course.
Albuquerque Center, how you doing? United 2215, flight level 350.
All right.
United 2215 Albuquerque Center, good evening.
We're going to go ahead and get our bleeds off, close that isolation valve, get our packs on. And so that we don't forget, we got to turn our pitot heat on now. Let's go ahead and check our output generators. Everything looks good. Let's check generator 2 just in case. So we got generators. We got nothing else up top of any concern. And of course, we need to turn our center tanks on because we do have fuel in there, which normally we don't. So we have to be cognizant of that. And of course, now APU comes off. All right, give them a little shout out. And let's go ahead and get our flaps where they go. But before that, I owe you guys something. It's called the controls here. So we're up on the controls. Before we do our check, we get this to RTO. Let's get our flaps to the 5 position. All right, let's make sure that that is selected to 5, but we'll make sure it is indicated. And our headings aren't correct. Let's just get this to about 215. Boom, 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 boom. And then lastly, of course, let me go ahead and leave you guys right there for a second. Let me get the headings on this standard instrument departure. Key down 3. And so the initial climb is, let's see here, 222 on the heading, then left direct. So that's what it'll be. So let's go ahead and put that in there, guys, and then get out of here. So we're going to 222 it everywhere. That's the Mach. 222. 222. And of course, on the first officer side, 222. Albuquerque Center, American 103, push back from the gate. We have the weather on board, and we are ready to taxi, sir.
An American 103, runway 26 left, taxi via Lima.
26 left via Lima for American 103. Alright, so let's just change that really quick. He's saying 26 via Lima, so let's go into the departure and let's do 26 via Lima, route, legs, execute. Takeoff speeds are deleted, of course, so now we just got to come back over here and get those together, and then of course from 26 left heading 265. So we gotta make a change here. 265, 265, of course 265, and we are out of here, folks. All right, let me just figure out where this 26 left is at.
Albuquerque Center, American
26
897.
left, so we're going to be taxiing Lima, which is pretty much
departure.
straight ahead. All right, folks,
897 Albuquerque.
they cannot hold us down. Let's get that parking brake off.
Comment
And,
flight level 370, American 897.
Let's get going. We'll do our flight controls check as we taxi. Welcome aboard American Airlines Flight 103, service from El Paso all the way over to Dallas Fort Worth, folks. All right, feels good to be back in the Boeing 737, of course. And always look forward to doing this with you guys. So we're going to veer off a little bit to the right because it's a little offset from where we're at. All right, full back, full forward, left, right aileron, center, and the rudder we'll have to do it because the rudder is this plane really has this tiller right here, but I'm using rudder pedals and those are associated with the rudder check, so they're not disconnected right now because I don't have a tiller for simulation, unfortunately. That's okay though. All right, folks. Flaps are where they're at. RTO 17,000 in the MCP. Everything is set up. Again, normally we would do the checklist. I don't recommend not doing the checklist, but for brevity, we're going to do it this way.
So that's 898 radar contact lost.
All right, straight ahead we go. Again, hope everybody's doing good. So now here's Lima. And we'll take this all the way down for runway 26 left.
Center, any chance of getting away for about like 10 minutes almost?
Let me do a handoff to Fort Worth first. You're about to enter theirs.
Okay.
All right, so we're just going to take this all the way down, folks.
But you said you're going to do that. You're going to do that handoff first.
November 234A for meeting contact Fort Worth Center on 132.45 with your request.
132.45, number 234. Thank you.
Just going through this without necessarily going through everything. And we'll take this full length, so we don't have to worry about this taxiway running out on us. Just keep taking a peek. Isolation valve, APU bleed, generators 1 and 2, probe heat. We did. We even checked the generator power, ground equipment, flap lever, flight control, lower DU. So the lower DU is just this. We can get rid of it and put that information there, which we did. Lower DU is clear. Light directors are both on. Alright, flight control, blank, boom, boom, boom. That checklist is good. So we can go back. That was before taxi, so let's go back to the home checklist. Alright. So takeoff, light strobe, transponder, landing lights, transponders already on, thrust levels to 40% in one. It's quite the long taxi. Let's juice it up here a little bit.
Leaving airspace to the west, Los Angeles offline radar service.
There's really no other checks that we need to do.
Thank you. Have a good night. Appreciate your help.
Steady as she goes. And since we don't even have to switch frequencies once we get to the base of the runway, we're just basically going to call it before we get to the hold short bars, and we're going to get out of here. Only thing left to do, we got to put our auto throttle on, and I forgot to bind my key to Command A, so I got to remember to hit it with the mouse and not hit it with my flight controls. Normally it's on the back here, but I forgot to switch it over. Right now it's on for like general aviation. When you start getting into the jets and you start binding your keys, you really have to look for example, Airbuses, you need to look for the AP1 to bind it to your autopilot command feature. For general aviation, you just have to find the one that says toggle servers. And then for aircraft like this, you would really look for the Command A. But we're just gonna take off and try to remember to do it with mouse. I don't think toggling the servers anyway with this is going to do anything, but I don't want it to do it because sometimes that command will mess up how the airplane initiates the autopilot, what it's turning on and not, when it's not supposed to be that number. And actually, let's see here, the flap speed for fly is 250, so we can bring this speed up maybe to like 225, and we'll bring it up to 230. That's a good number. What do you guys think? I think so. All right, we are doing good. Let me see if I typed in the actual
Albuquerque Center, this November Delta. I'm going to be stepping away
flight plan.
10 minutes.
So November Delta Alpha 907 Hotel, I'll be closing at that point. So radar service terminated, frequency change approved. Have a good night.
Roger that, Albuquerque Center. Thank you for all the fun tonight.
Alright, what I'm doing is I'm basically
151 contact.
I'm basically getting my
on 132.22. Good night.
active sky weather to make sure it's fully updated.
2241051. Thank you. Good night.
So you guys might see an update. That's what you're seeing right now.
American 897, I'll be getting off here in just a moment. No further ATCs available for now. Radar service terminated, frequency change approved. Have a good night.
Alright, switching over to Unicom, American 897. Thanks for the HC. Good night.
JetBlue 7, radar service terminated, frequency change approved. Good night.
Over to Unicom, JetBlue 7. Good night.
Albuquerque Center, American 103, holding short, runway 26 left, ready for departure. He's probably finding me on the scope.
103, runway 26 left, clear takeoff.
26 left, clear for takeoff, American 103. And the only thing we did forget to do is actually turn our taxi lights on.
15. I'll be closing here in just a minute.
But we'll leave those out now.
With Fort Worth and
Flight attendants, please be seated for departure.
let's see. You got about 13 minutes until you enter Fort Worth airspace.
Okay,
so for now,
auto
we can
throttle.
monitor Have a good-
And we'll come over here to the chronometer.
United 2259.
Final looks clear. Left looks clear. Let's do it. Now you got to be careful with this aircraft
American
because
103, your departure frequency will be Unicom.
okay, Unicom for departure frequency, American 103. All right. So our departure frequency, what he's saying is going to be Unicom, meaning once we get up in the air, we're back on our own. So we'll see if any of the other controllers will be on, but if not, we got a pretty easy flight here. We can take destiny into our own hands. Flying time is about 1 hour and 20 minutes here. Just lining ourselves up appropriately on the runway. All right, folks. Let's go to 40%. Stable.
Aircraft
60.
remaining on this frequency. Albuquerque Center is now closed. Monitor Unicom 122.8. Have a good night. Thanks for the flight.
Thanks for your service, brother. Let's see. All right.
Have a good one.
Have a good night. Appreciate it, buddy.
All right. 98% is good for takeoff speed. Here's coming up. And what you're seeing right now for the fuel
400
is essentially just because there's no more tank, no more fuel in the center tank.
1000
I got to keep it a little low here and let this thing pick up speed, even though I'm following the flight director. You got to be very careful. I did it the other day on accident and started dipping the nose when I shouldn't have. All right, we can go to autopilot. Okay, oh, the auto throttle, let's see. Doesn't like that for whatever reason. So we'll just hand fly it and we'll go flaps up. Not a problem. I don't know why it's not accepting the autopilot. Go flaps up clean.
2500.
All right, for whatever reason, it took the autopilot now. It's going to nose up and do what it's got to do. So that was a wonderful departure for us. Anyway, let's get those fuel pumps off. When we turn off lights off, we'll leave the landing lights on. Now the aircraft's going to do its catching up. So we did a good job staying on there. I don't know if it did want to take the autopilot. For whatever reason, we had this all green. So scratching my head on that one, but that's why we just kept control of the aircraft for our departure. Let's go ahead and go to Unicom down here as we're supposed to. All right, we got that switched over. All right. We'll make our call out here in a minute. Okay, flaps are up and clean. Let's get this off of rejected takeoff. Let's get the landing gear to the off position. Of course, that's all good. And let's make our call out. And we are direct Hickam. Paso traffic. American 103 clear runway 26 left. Direct Hickam. Climbing on the touchdown 3 standard instant departure for El Paso traffic. All right, so we made our little announcement there. We're at 10,000 feet. Landing lights can come off. Flaps are up and clean. Rejected takeoff to off. We don't have any more notifications. Autopilot is engaged. And now, because we're on our departure, we can basically go all the way up to flight level 370 because we don't have ATC until we do have ATC. So we can continue to do our departure as we get ready to enter this cloud layer all on our own. We'll leave this one short range for now as far as the distance and what we can see, and we'll go ahead and throw this one on a longer range so we know what to expect. For example, like our top of climb. Let's go a little bit further out. And here we go into the cloud layer, so let's get a good look at the ground. Until we get out of this cloud layer, folks. Alright. And of course now, there's no need to have the cam controls in there, so we'll get rid of those. Look at that. Beautiful Earth. So she's climbing well. Ooh, looks like we got some rain. Let's see what the passengers see. Ooh, that is nasty business there that we're going through, folks. Huh. Not that we need them. Let's make sure we got the window defrost on.
2017 Airline of the Year.
Doo-doo-doo.
A special welcome to Advantage in One World members. If you are not an Advantage member, you can sign up at aa.com.
And we did turn that window heat on, which is up here. Let's do the wing anti-ice, and let's do engine anti-ice now. So we're gonna have to turn those on. We got all our probes on and our window heat, so gotta take into consideration how much precipitation builds up on the surfaces while it's raining.
Not an aviator card member? See a flight attendant and receive an exclusive offer when you apply in flight today.
All right, getting ready to pass over 17,000 in less than 200.
Complimentary beverages. Wi-Fi service is available on this flight. Connect to the AA in-flight signal and open your browser. You can access aa.com free of charge to view flight connections and other travel information.
All right, looks like we're out of the rain, so we can go ahead and park those wipers.
Your device. AC power outlets are
We can get this to
on
auto.
every seat. While you are seated, please keep your seatbelt fastened and visible to the crew when the seatbelt sign is on, as turbulence can happen unexpectedly.
All right, we can definitely go into the standard now.
Use caution, as carry-on items.
I think I took those wipers off a little too early. We just basically want to keep it clear, just in case there's some other aircraft out there. So it's sprinkling right now, so we'll keep that clear as much as possible. Okay, let's take a look at the VATSIM network quick. Let's see here, just checking on some stuff. Alright, so let's look at the VATSIM network really quick. See what's really going on. Let's expand this a little more for your viewing pleasure. So I think we'll be okay to have Fort Worth on. And we're way over here, so we're doing good for now. And there's quite a bit of aircraft coming into Fort Worth, so I'm pretty sure we're going to have ATC. But if not, no worries. And really, I just want to see what the weather's doing in Fort Worth, actually. Bring you guys back up front so you can see something. Alright, so with that being said too, it's awfully quiet in here. Let's get some tunes going on. All right, so the weather in Fort Worth is out of the south, so I'm thinking 17 center for the landing, but we'll get to that here in a little bit. All right, there we go. Well, those views are looking good. Give you guys this view for now, and we're just gonna cruise. So enjoy the tunes. We'll cruise right here from this. I'm just curious, all that weather is gone. Bye-bye. It's all behind us. And this is the most updated, so there was just a little weather situation going on there, but no more weather for now. All right, folks, so we're just going to enjoy the music and watch this baby climb and enjoy our trip to Dallas-Fort Worth on this nonstop flight with American Airlines. All right, folks, we have most certainly been cruising for some time here, not too long. To be exact, we're at 56 minutes and 23 seconds on this flight, and we are getting ready to stop our top of descent. So let's go ahead and bring our numbers down, of course, all the way to 11,000, which is the last point on the descent, of course, or on the Boon 5 arrival into Dallas-Fort Worth. And also, we need to keep in mind that the altimeter there, as of last report, is 3000, but I just refreshed it. It's 3001. Let me show you guys a little something here. So if you come up here, and we need to go further down since it compressed. Okay, so here's the ATIS 160. The winds are out of the south still. The altimeter is 3001, of course. Visibility is 10 miles, 9 knots on that wind out of the south, so not too bad. We can do a we definitely don't have to do a full flaps landing. And the VATSIM scope is looking very sparse. Here we are. They went offline, and here's what we got going on. So at the worst, we may have to contact tower when we're on our final. No big deal. I'll try to have that programmed in so we don't get caught slipping. As you can see here, we are starting our wonderful descent here. Let's go ahead and see. Yeah, I had 300 in there, but let's correct that by 1. Planning on landing on 18 right, and I'll show you why. All right, 3001 there, and let's show you why we're going to land on 18 right. All right, here's our Navi graph. Of course, let me make that a little smaller so we at least have something. Airport is here. This is the concourse we need to be at. We're parking gate Delta 31. So if we take a look at concourse parkings, here's Delta 31 off the corner. Is the second one in right here. Therefore, the wisest thing that we can do is come in on 18 right. Normally I come in on this side for American, and I always go to Terminal A, but this one's Terminal Delta on this flight. Check flight aware, so that's what we're going to do. So hopefully we get off and stop by E3 or E4. We can cross over on Golf 8 or Whiskey Lima all the way across, and then we will pick up Golf here, which that looks like that's Golf taxiway by just judging off of this. And these crossways are Golf as well, so that's what we're going to do, folks, in order for us to get in there. All right, let's take a look at our aircraft, make sure we don't have any FMC messages, drag required, but we're fine. That might have just been for that split second. All right, and we'll be making announcements, of course, just simply because we do have some actual pilots around there, so we want to be respectful, especially because a lot of folks were flying in and out of there. So yeah, so we are on our way down, folks. So some texture popping over here. Descent procedure here, landing altitude verify, which we did, is 600 and something feet. System annunciator, let's go ahead and do a recall on that. Everything looks good there, nothing on the annunciator panel. Radio, barrel minimums as needed, so we did that. We haven't done the VREF, the navigation set and verify for navigation radio, and auto brakes as needed. I think on this one we're just going to do auto brake 2 and go from there. All right. See, we've got about 14 more nautical miles on this leg. Let me just zero up the heading here. Let me do something real quick. I feel like my track IR is all over the place. There we go. It's not going to move as much. Alright, we're going to put that on the heading select mode so that we can get our arrival in there. We are doing 18 right. We'll execute that. Let's go to our leg page. We're direct bar, boot, da-da-da. Insufficient fuel, we'll be just fine. We got some reserves. Vector and ICO, so we're still doing good there. So now we can come back up and put it in the lateral navigation. And it's saying it's insufficient fuel. I don't know why. Maybe, oh, because we have a discontinuity. That's probably why. So here we go. And then this line right here is going to be the missed approach if we don't make it, of course. So we're coming here. We've got still 10,000 pounds of fuel. There's more than enough fuel in there. It's just that we didn't solidify it because we got a vector in there. So once we get from Bayonne, which we probably won't go, we'll go direct ICO, and we'll bring it straight in, folks, because it's got our runway 18 right in there, so we're not doing too bad. Arb. Okay, so we are direct boov, so we need to figure this piece out. Blue Shrimp, Curly, Del Amo, Bound Vector. Then they came over here and gave us Ink and Geeky again. That's not what we wanted. We want to take this Ickle. Let's see. Let's erase that. That's not what we wanted to do. I want to take Ickle. And put it right here, actually. Blue Shrimp, Del Almo, Larry, Bound, Vector, Ickle, Johan, and the runway. So that ought to fix us up right there. That's why I say whenever you're making changes to this thing, you got to be very careful. Still on lateral navigation, direct boov, and then should be the rest. Yep, simp, da-da-da, here we go. So, I had to fix that out. Don't know why I did that. The rest of those discontinuities must be in there, but that's okay. We'll be on the ground before those even affect us. Once we basically turn left here, we're going to turn left, then after the last left, we'll actually be downwind and we can call it. Alright folks, so we are doing well. Let's make sure our Unicom is still where it's at. It is. So we're good there. We're just going to continue our way down. We'll watch this, otherwise it's going to give us a message that we need some more drag, which it just did. Clear that out. And we'll give it just a little bit of drag. We have most certainly passed that of the standard transition altitude of 18,000 feet or flight level 180. So now we're into the levels of altitude below that. Alright, I bled it a little bit under this speed just because generally this aircraft will pick up a little. It's going to do it on purpose now anyway. But generally this aircraft has a tendency to overspeed itself really easily, as you saw in the descent. Anyway, some aircraft, they do a pretty good job of just maintaining the descent and pitch with autopilot and not picking up speed. The more pronounced ones that I can think of are like the Airbuses. You generally don't have to do a whole lot with those bad boys, but Boeing aircraft are awesome as well, in my opinion. No aircraft is perfect, and there's pros and cons to all of them. Alright folks, so the good thing about us having got our arrival information put in there is the fact now that we can come down here to our initial ref and we can decide where we're going to land. We're definitely not landing at flaps 15, so we're going to pick 30. And we're going to put that in there. And then of course here's our ILS frequency and the heading for runway 180 or 18 right. I'm sorry, 180. The ILS for 18 right is this. So we're going to plug this in because this is what X-Plane is doing. Sometimes the let's see, TAI above 10 Celsius, that's fine. We'll take off the icing here in a second. And then here, so give us the frequency right away, and here's the heading. So we're just going to adhere to that. So let's put the frequency in of 1190. Right, oh, it's already in 1190, 1190. So that must have been an ILS that was used somewhere else. 1190. 1190, that's already in. So now we just need to work on the heading. Or the course heading, I should say. There we go. That's all matched up. Speed is doing good here. And let's increase this. And here in a little bit, we're going to get the music off. So if you look straight ahead here, that's the airport right there. So we just got to make a nice little left, come around, and we'll be landing right over here, folks. So we do have a good visual of the field. And I'm almost tempted to do a VFR land, or not a VFR, but just take it in manually and do a visual landing. Let me see what the scope looks like, because the only reason I'm not going to do that, even though you can pretty much do what you want right now on the VATSIM network, not meaning that you can be disrespectful or anything like that, but ground is not even on. But the problem is there's a bunch of other aircraft in there. Let's see what these guys are doing. Caden, we got another somebody that just departed. Let me look and see how many departures. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's enough. We'll do this the right way. Just because we don't want to bump heads with any aircraft, of course. Because there's definitely not anybody on here. There's 33 departures and 13 arrivals. So they got quite the number of departures in here. And I'm assuming, like myself, a lot of people were trying to get that. Let's see what this says here. IVN 177. That's what it is. 177. Let's get the heading on that as well. Now, you can see that that line is not crossed through there. What it was saying is, hey, I don't like this. I need all my information, the course headings and the heading director, to be all legit and all the same, so that it can do what it needs to do when it captures the ILS. And one thing we have to keep in mind is we have to make sure we keep our turn from Bayonne over to Ickle in order to, I mean, we can do it. Matter of fact, I'm going to let the aircraft do it. Once we get to Boeing, we'll go direct Ickle, then it'll get on there as far as final. And then once we're lined up, I'll add the approach. Pretty much. Alright, so now that we're 1,000 to go, the aircraft is going to level out, so we don't need to do much there. Now we need to come over here and take a look at our legs page. This is supposed to be 10,000. Bayonne's supposed to be 7,000, but on the arrival, that is anything further from the truth, because on the Boo 5, we're supposed to be at Bayonne. Well, Del Amo is the last one, which was at 11,000, which is why we're there now. And then Bayonne, see, Ickle needs to be at 4,000. So now, guess what, guys? We're going to take matters into our own hand. And we are going to bring this bad boy down a little further. So Ickle needs to be right at 4,000. So above 4,000. Let me check on the approach for 18 right. So Ickle needs to be, yep, pretty much at 4,000. So we're going to make sure that we do that. Got the MCP set up for 4,000, and this up here is Ickle for the turn. So I still think we're doing good. All right, that's the indication. We need landing lights on. Getting them all on. All right, we got our auto brake set up for now. Even though we'll be probably using the speed brake, we're just going to arm it now anyway. This is pretty much where you want to be, about 210. All right, I've just put out some of our brakes there. Look at that beautiful, beautiful green land down there. Breathtaking. can see from the passenger's view. Alright, take those brakes off now for a little bit and see what we're doing on the speed. We're doing pretty good. And so that we don't pick up too much more speed, we can go ahead and bring some flaps down now. That'll help give us a little bit of drag there. And let's get ready to start making our callouts. We all downwind. We are downwind. We all downwind. Ah, hell you say? Alright, just making light of my own linguistic problems there. Alright, so let's go ahead and get the music shut off. Alright, now with that being said, let's come back down here and make sure we're still on Unicom, which we are, because we need to do our callouts. Dallas Fort Worth traffic, American 103 is downwind of runway 18 right. Direct Bayonne, expecting full stop 18 right for Dallas Fort Worth traffic. Alright, so there you go. They know I'm inbound, and for a VATSIM person that does a lot. That also basically gives us the excitement that another aircraft is coming in. And what I do sometimes, I hear somebody coming. If I'm on the ground, I'll set up and watch them come in. How about you guys? Do you guys like to do that as well? Question mark. You guys like that? It's a little verbal punctuation for you guys. Alright, so we're doing well here. Don't worry, once we make our turn, we'll get the cams on for the flight controls, and together we'll bring this in. We're pretty much right at the speed that I want to be. Once I get to Bayonne, I'm going to drop back to 190 and throw in some more flaps, of course. Let's plan on our landing speed now. Okay, landing speed, the VREF is 147 plus 9, so we're going to make our landing speed roughly 155, folks. 155 is the speed we're going to try to use on the approach. So we'll get that back to legs, because here in a second we're going to be going direct. Actually, what we're going to do now, folks, is we're going to take it over. Even though it's going to disagree. Alright, there we go. Heading mode is selected. You can see we're below the glide slope, so it is picking up the information. So once we get a little bit above Bayonne, then I'm gonna pretty much have us go direct to Ickle and do it that way, and then we'll start slowing the bird down. Alright, we'll keep it on this so I know where to make my turn. Alright folks, I'm going to go ahead and get our controls cam on. Alright folks, let's get one last look right off that nose, since it's such a nice scenery. Just, even though it's simulation, it's always still breathtaking to see God's country, of course. Oh, and good thing we saw it with some light. Looks like the weather is updating itself to reflect nice gray. Okay, so here we go. We're pretty much parallel. So now we're direct Ickle. So now I'm not going to go any more further because we got this, guys. So let's put on our LNAV. We're going to turn direct Ickle. And let's go ahead and bring that speed down to 190. We're going to go flaps 5. As you can see, you got to know your speeds, so we're in a good safe speed at 190 right here, so flaps 5 will definitely do the trick. Again, we're just letting the aircraft fly it, and then once we get all situated here, we'll already be direct. See that? I like it. It's not coming at a 90-degree angle. It's coming at, I still think it's going to be less than 30 degrees, but you cannot intercept the ILS anything over 30 degrees. The airplane will literally try to turn itself around. So it's still doing a nice turn, so it can line right up with ICL, and then we'll get right on here and get in there and do what we need to do. 4,000 is for ICL. Johan is at above 3,000, so let's just plan on potentially manually having to get ourselves down to see if we're all lined up or not. And again, 155 is the magic number, folks. Alright, let's look up here. We already have the landing lights on. I even put taxi and that all good stuff on. And let's give a little chime. Get those seat backs and tray tables to the upright positions, of course. Now we're going to pull into the gate with this aircraft. I'm not going to shut it down or anything, because this aircraft always gives me a hard time on the replay. Once I'm done with the replay, it crashes right into the doggone building. So I'm even going to keep the replay bar up here when we do the replay. A lot of times I like to have a nice scenic no replay bar up here, but we can't risk it with this aircraft. Alright, so right now we're getting ready to make that turn. As we're making the turn, the slick part is to do it once you know it's under 30 degrees. You can see we passed over the ILS yet, so we want to be quick not to get ahead of ourselves. We need to see it coming back this way. So once I see this little situation moving, you can see the aircraft is trying to do its best to get, and that's why I was saying we may have to manually do it to Johan, which we are, just until now once we start banking left, which we are now it's time to hit the localizer, folks. Localizer's captured. There's a little trick. We're captured under that 30 degrees because it's pretty much dead on, so the aircraft's going to start straightening it up. And now we can also hit the approach button, which we're looking for the glide slope now. Let's go ahead and bring our approach speed back to 170 for now. Throw on some more flaps. As you can see here, we're still quite a ways out. We got 5 here, and then another 5 to the runway. So if you did this, you can see we're not quite on, there's 5, so we might be right at a 10 mile final. It's close. We can call it here in a second. Another stage of flaps coming in. Dallas-Fort Worth traffic, American 103 is on a 10-mile final for runway 18 right, full stop. Dallas-Fort Worth traffic. Alright, so we have it in sight. We're not doing too bad, folks, but, you know, we got to do stuff here to have fun. So I'm going to take everything back over manually, and let's have ourselves a good time. See that glide slope coming down? My aircraft? Just managing pitch here right now. All right. All right, folks, let's go ahead and drop the landing gear. Dallas Fort Worth traffic, American 103 is on a 5-mile final for runway 18 right, full stop, Dallas Fort Worth traffic. All right, a little bit lower. There we go. It's multitasking there.
Flight slow. Flight slow.
Yeah, we're a little off. No worries there. Back on it. Pick up that speed a little bit. Still over VREF, but nonetheless, a lot of trim play here. Watch that speed.
500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
All right, acceptable landing. Got our reversers on, of course. Bleeding speed, bleeding speed. We're not going to make that one.
80 knots.
Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign is turned off. And keep the aisles clear of all carry-on items. Take a moment to check your seat back pocket for any personal
All right.
like tablets.
We are on Echo 4.
When you open the overhead compartment, be careful, as items may have moved in flight. And thank you for choosing American Airlines.
All right, let's come to a quick stop here. Get that strobe off. That APU on. Oops. Dallas Fort Worth traffic. American 103 clear of runway 18 right. Taxiing on the ramp. Currently on Echo 4. Dallas Fort Worth traffic. All right. So we made it in. Let me just pull up my taxi chart.
Traffic American 726 South, Marty. What's that right, please?
All right, so we're going to take this Whiskey Lima and go straight across to Gulf. So, not bad at all. Let's make sure all of our stuff is up. Flaps are retracted. And landing lights are off. Runway turn off. Taxi is on. And the APU is starting up. Welcome in to Dallas Fort Worth, folks. Landings, they always come quicker than I think they do. But nonetheless, we made it in. Acceptable landing rate. Wasn't a butter. Might not even be on the center of the runway, but guess what, guys? We made it in anyway. And an acceptable landing means it's not a horrible landing, so. Dallas Fort Worth traffic. American 103 on Whiskey Lima crossing runway 18 left. Dallas Fort Worth traffic. Alright. Let's just make sure we got somebody over there, but I think he's crossing as well. Make sure we don't have anybody we're going to crash into here since we don't have air traffic control. Let's get ourselves straight here. Now once we pass over this, there's Foxtrot. But I'm just going to come up here and take golf. There goes somebody taking off there. I think that's that gentleman that just said he was lifting off.
South Slow traffic, Southwest 617, taxiing Bravo, Quebec, Delta, Charlie 5, Charlie to Charlie for 13 right departure. Low flow traffic.
So that's the Delta Concourse right there. We just got to get to the other side of it. So our flight planning worked out well. When she touched down, she started, I think, pulling to the left. I had to get on those rudders really good. All right, go. Just a little bit further up. We've got to get to that corner. Delta 31. I can't remember if they're labeled in here correctly, but it's either going to be that, shouldn't be that long corner one. It should be just the one just to the right of that. Looks like we got somebody over there on 18 left getting ready to boost off. Looking official. That line is leading us a little bit shallow. We're going to take a little bit of a wider turn. That line wouldn't be that direct to go into a ramp. So it's not this first gate. It is definitely that second gate.
DFW traffic, United 155, descending the Ferry 1 arrival for runway 18 right for landing. DFW jet.
Alright, somebody else is using 18 right for landing as well. Now, I don't see an I lead in for that gate there, which is funny. Oh, I see there is an I lead, but it comes way crooked how this gate works. Alright, so we'll do the crooked one. Because this definitely is our gate. Alright, we're lining up straight. Gotta be respectful, get that taxi light off. Let's get the generators going here. I don't know why my marshalers aren't here, but now we gotta look for the 737 sign. 777. Okay, it's the next one. All right, let's go outside and check it out. Pretty straight. Thing is, the plane is so tall you can't see down, so there's no way possible that you can just, you know, sometimes I get lucky, I can line it up straight, but sometimes you just don't know when exactly where to stop on that line. But we do now. Parking brake should be set. Alright, APU is all together, so now we can simply let's get the packs off. Let's get the bleed going and isolation valve open. And we can go ahead and shut this bad boy down. Welcome it into the gate here at Dallas Fort Worth. Let's come back this way. Get that transponder off. Perfect. Alright. Let's get ready to do some replays. There's a little bit more housekeeping notes I got to do here. I got to get off the VATSIM network. So let us just disconnect and get right into the replay.